Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the cost of moving to Moscow, as well as the day-to-day costs as well that you need to consider in your budget before you move here so that you can live comfortably and not be worried too much about money when you first move here, because there's loads of things to consider and to plan when you first move to a different country or a different city. I actually moved to Moscow around a month ago now. It feels like forever ago, it's crazy. But I went through this whole process. So the first part of this video, by the way, is going to be about the process which you need to go through and all the costs that you need to pay to be able to move here. And then the second part, the timestamp is on the screen right now, is going to be about the day-to-day costs, just so that you know in case you're only interested in one part. So the first thing that you need to do when planning your move to Moscow is you need to get a visa invitation. So this isn't a visa, this is a visa invitation. You can't get a visa without this invitation. So there's many ways which you can do this, and it can cost between £0 and like £50 or even more, depends how you get it. So one of the ways which you can get it is through a travel agency, and you can literally just type into Google like Russian visa invitation and there'll be loads of websites. Just make sure it's kind of legit, do a little bit of research into the website beforehand, and then you can pay them for either instant visa invitation, or some of them take like 24 hours, some of them take a few days, depends on the website. But yeah, this can cost between maybe £5 to £50. It just really depends on the website. Some more ways you can get visa invitations is through your hotel, through the work. So if you've already got a job in Moscow planned and lined up, you can just ask them for a visa invitation. So the second thing you're going to need to do is you need to get your actual visa. And how you do this is you go to the Russian visa center. So for example, there's like one in London. Just go to London, go to the visa center, give over the correct paperwork. By the way, I'm going to put loads of useful links in the description, so if you're stuck on any of these steps, go to the description and you can learn more about it on the Russian visa website or whatever it is. Anyway, so you go to the Russian visa center and you give over the correct paperwork, and you can either get express delivery or you can get, I think it's 3-week delivery. So obviously you pay more for the 3-day delivery. So the 3-day delivery costs over £200, and I'm not sure how much the 3-week delivery costs, but it's probably just under £200 or around the £200 mark. But that is a big thing you're going to need to consider when moving here. There is a way to not pay this £200 for a visa, and that is actually getting your work to pay for your visa and that whole process. But that is something you're going to have to talk to them about and see if that's something they'd be willing to do. But if you're not coming over here with a job, then you're gonna need to do this yourself. Now, the next thing is kind of a thing that's only relevant now. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be relevant for, but it's getting your COVID test, because when you travel to Russia, you have to get a special kind of COVID test that you can only get inside the visa center. So it's like a special like inside clinic, and it's only like recently opened, obviously because of COVID. So this COVID test costs over £200 as well. So as you can tell, there's a lot of money you're gonna have to pay up front moving here, because you've got the visa and the COVID test and all that fun stuff. So now we're gonna talk about day-to-day costs living in Moscow. So the first being apartments, and there's 2 websites which I would recommend finding your apartment through. The first is AirBnB. So this is one that we actually use. It's very reliable. So you can see reviews from past tenants, you can look for long-term stays, and yeah, you can see loads of photos, contact them or whatever. And you can even negotiate. I know not a lot of people do this, but you can actually message the host. So say you really like an apartment, but it's a bit too expensive, it's out of your budget. You can contact them and say, hi, like, would you take this much per month? Because I am looking for a long-term rental. Because this is like a little bit of leverage you can use, because usually Airbnb is like for short-term rentals. So if you therefore are using the apartment for a long term, they're obviously going to be getting money every single day. So yeah, definitely use that as leverage, like your long-term rental, and offer them much less money, like offer them maybe £200 less and negotiate from there. That's definitely what I'd recommend with Airbnb, because it is a bit more pricier than like Russian apartment websites. The second website I'd recommend is locals.ru, and this is a Russian apartment website. It's just what Russians use to find apartments, and you can definitely find apartments much cheaper than Airbnb, because Airbnb take a massive chunk of the host money, which is why people charge more on there. Also, it's more for foreigners. So when you use locals.ru, you can get cheaper places. But the reason we didn't use locals.ru is because it's not as trustworthy. Like, obviously you can probably find a lot of scammers on there trying to take your money, and you might be working with an agency, you might be working with a private landlord. There's loads of different options, but when you go through Airbnb, you know you're going to be talking to the host, and you can sort out loads of details, and if they do a really bad job, you can give them a really bad review, and they're aware of that, so they're more likely to do good by you and actually, you know, fix things if they're broken or whatever. So that's why we personally picked Airbnb, but locals.ru, if you are on a tight budget, definitely recommend looking at that. You can find apartments from around £300 to over £1,000, to be honest, especially on Airbnb. You can find loads of apartments for like £1,000, £2,000, and those apartments are usually like in the center, and they're super like bougie inside. So it's just something to consider depending on your budget, depending on what you're looking for location wise and what's important for you. So I definitely recommend those two websites, Airbnb and locals.ru. Also with Airbnb, if you are interested in using it and you want to sign up for the website, I've got a link in my description, and if you sign up through my link, you'll get a discount off your first day. So gonna save you some money. Now moving on to household bills. So that's electricity, that's water, that's heating and all that fun stuff. With Airbnb, the bills are included in the rental price. With locals.ru, or if you're going privately, or if you're going through another website, it can depend. Like, you can pay it on your own, and you can pay it with the rental price, so it really depends. And apparently this costs £50 per person. We haven't paid like privately for our bills, our landlord's paying for it. And when I was negotiating the price for this apartment, I basically asked him for a much lower price, obviously, as I recommended, and he said, well, bills are going to cost £100 for two of you, so I'm going to add that on top of it. So we ended up with like a price we were both happy with, because we added the bills on top. So he was happy with it and I was happy with it. Anyway, so from that information, from that discussion, I found out it costs around £50 per person per month for household bills. So that's Wi-Fi, as I said, electricity, heating and water. Obviously, if you're living in Moscow, you're gonna need to feed yourself. So let's talk about food. I actually created a video of like a grocery shop in Moscow, and I literally went to basically every single food item and told you the cost of it and how you can use the item or whatever. And I'm going to put the link to that video in the card up here, as well as in the description if you're interested in watching it, because I really do break down all of the costs of food. So definitely watch that if you want to know how much food costs. But in general, it costs around £20 per person per week, so that's like £100 per month per person. And there's two of us here, so for us it costs £200 per month for our food, and also water, because you can't drink the water here. So each big bottle of water costs 50p, so we go through around one per day or one per 2 days, depends. So yeah, that is kind of a big price. It really does add up, all this water, so do consider that too. Now moving on to phone bills, because that is an essential these days, isn't it? Especially me, because I actually work on my phone all day. My work is literally online teaching on a specific app which I have to use my phone for. So a phone bill is very important to consider in your costs. This really depends on your contract though. I personally am with a company called Megaphone, but my boyfriend's with Beeline, so we have slightly different costs, and I'm a bit confused, to be honest, with our contract, because I paid an upfront cost for the SIM, and I don't know how much the data and the phone calls cost, but I check maybe every week on the website, and I can look at my account, see how much money I have left, and top it up if need be. And this costs around maybe £7 per month for me, but to be fair, I don't travel around much. I'm usually at home, so I can use Wi-Fi. I don't need to use a lot of data. Also don't call much because I don't really know anyone here, so I think my phone bill is very low because of that. And I think it looks like kind of a top-up system. So yeah, we do save a lot of money through it. So do just ask the company you are considering using what the different types of contracts are, because it is all in Russian, so you might need a little bit of help, but it is very low in general. I'd really recommend opening a bank account when moving here. It just makes everything so much easier. Also, there's a lot of stuff you can't do when living here if you don't have a bank account, and the biggest bank here is called Sberbank. I actually believe that the government own like a part of the bank, like they have a large share in this bank. So yeah, I use Sberbank, and yeah, I believe there's no additional fees or anything by holding a bank account. But there is one slight problem that we've had with having a bank account here, which is that when transferring money from our UK bank to our Russian bank account, it takes 2 to 3 days to transfer. So if you need some money quickly, then you're gonna have to wait a few days, and especially if it's a Friday, you're gonna have to wait the weekend because it's only 2 to 3 working days. So that is a problem we've faced here. Also, they charge you for transferring money from the UK bank to here because it's international. So that is also something to consider. You will be losing a bit of money transferring it from your UK bank to your Russian bank account. So yeah, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And the next thing is social life, because of course you're going to want to do stuff during the week to entertain yourself between work or whatever, just to switch off for the holidays, for your birthday. And let's talk about how much all these things can cost. So first of all, I wanted to mention that during lunchtime there are canteens in Moscow that offer very cheap and healthy meals. It's kind of, I think you get like a main and you get a side and you get some juice for around £3, which is amazing. Very cheap. You can never get that in the UK, or especially London, a £3 meal that is healthy. And yeah, that is something that you could do if you want to go out for lunch, go to one of these canteens and get a nice meal with some of your friends or whatever. Also during the winter and also during the summer, but I've only lived here during the winter so far, there are a lot of different activities, winter activities. There is skiing, because there's snow everywhere every day. You can go like sledging, you can go skiing, there's loads of slopes. So if you go to like a little stadium, there's loads of stadiums all around Moscow, there's no like grass on them anymore, it's just snow, so you can slide down in the stadium. This is especially great for kids. If you're bringing kids over, you can just bring them there. There's tons of kids just playing in the snow, sledging and everything like that. Also, basically every single micro district, I talk about that in my apartment tour, you can check it out here on the description. Every single micro district has an ice rink on it, so a free ice rink. Is super cool. But unfortunately, because it is free, the maintenance people for the buildings, they can choose if they want to put ice on it or not. For example, our local ice rink doesn't have any ice on it, so we can't ice skate on it. It's just like an empty ice rink. Super weird. But there you go, if your micro district where you are living has an ice rink, you can go ice skating for free. There's also loads of other free ice rinks as well, but if you have to pay for entry, it costs around maybe £5, £2. It's very cheap. And if you want to buy ice skates here just to put your costs down even more, they cost around £25 to £30, so it's a great investment to make. Definitely recommend, if you're moving here during the winter, to invest in some ice skates, and you can get them for super cheap here. And then you can go ice skating for free. So it's a great free activity you can do, which is really fun as well. And it's a great skill to have, isn't it? It's a great sports skill to have. And if you want to go to watch the ballet in Moscow, that can cost around £100. Haven't done that yet. We are going to be watching a ballet because we received it as a Christmas present. We're going to be watching a ballet sometime after the new year, which is super exciting. So that's definitely something to consider doing once in a while, you know, just treating yourself to go watch the ballet. And the last cost that you will probably have is transport. And for the metro, that costs around 50p per journey, one-way journey. So for example, I could go from our apartment to the centre and that will cost 50p. Doesn't matter what line you go on or how many stops you travel, it costs the same amount. It costs 50p because all you do is tap in with your metro card and you don't need to tap out. It's just like barriers that let you out. So yeah, super cheap and great if you want to be traveling a lot for work or for your social life or whatever. So that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. I try to put everything that I personally learned during my time living here the past month and helping you along your journey if you are interested in moving to Moscow. If you are, do let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to chat to you because we will be living in the same city soon, I guess. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos all about living and working abroad and in Russia. So yeah, see you next Saturday for another video. Bye.